I spy player stats. Yeah, so I don't think I mentioned it last time, but you can actually use this spyglass to look at other players' stats. So actually start from, I think it's a distance of 8, right, from where your cursor is, and it'll then check that player, then the next player, till it finds a player or it gets to you. Right, so if there's someone else you're looking at, it'll tell you their stats rather than telling you your own stats, which obviously I just have base stats. Now, I was meant to start work on the weapons, right? So we have them in my inventory right here. So I'm using the trim system. That way I can have customizable weapons, right? So you don't have to have netherite. You could have iron weapons trimmed this way. So for instance, this is a iron nether sword, right? So it has that nether affinity. But, not what we're doing today, no. So, gone overboard with the attributes, like usual, right? I mean, take a look at the advancement tab. So this is the base Runechant page, right? It's starting to get real spicy. And then we have this, equipment tinkering. Yeah, there's a lot to peruse. Basically though, it's so all the set effects for the patterns, all the material bonuses, and then all the different ways to trim with attributes. So not only do we have the armor that we went through last time, but of course we now have ranged weapons, weapons in general, and shields. So all of which can be trimmed. And we also have this tinkering on a fletching table, polished basalt, and ancient debris. So as it says, drop a tinkerer's template and item onto a fletching table. Stat tinkering can be done to leather equipment, wooden and stone tools, bows and crossbows, fishing rods, turtle helmets, and elytra on a fletching table. So depending on the block, you can trim different sets of equipment. So polished basalt is chainmail, iron, and gold, as well as shields, and then ancient debris is for diamond, netherite, and tridents. So we have all of these, right? So we went over the crafting. You can chuck a diamond named armor, range, shield, or weapon, along with a stack of world fragments enchantment into one of the enchanter's crucibles, all the way up there. And then that will net you one of these diamonds, which you then can convert with a netherite upgrade smithing template into these tinkerer's templates. And they all are now functional. So why don't we take a look at some of them? Well, mainly just not the armor ones, right? So we have the shields, then we have the 3 ranged, and of course we have the weapons. The weapons, there's a lot to go over, so we probably won't touch on everything, but we'll definitely touch on the shield and whatnot. Okay, so a shield, remember we need to use polished basalt. I should probably spread these out more. Oh well. Okay, so we have 2 templates. Upgrade shields, improve defensive qualities, and improve offensive qualities. So we drop a shield on the polished basalt, along with one of these templates, gets tinkered, and now we have a shield with armor, attack damage, speed, attack speed, and luck while it's in the offhand, right? So as long as you have it equipped. But if we go ahead and swap it over to the other template, right, it now changes to max health, armor, normal armor, armor toughness, and knockback resistance. So essentially you can assign these different modes, if you will. You can either have it tuned to defensive qualities or to offensive qualities. And then the same goes for bows and crossbows and weapons. So we'll look at the bows next. Okay, so we have 3 for the bows on a fletching table. We have, this should be defensive, or, right, defensive? Yeah. Okay, so the bow now gives armor, has 1 attack damage, so you can actually swing with it, right? Do a little bit of damage. Then armor toughness and knockback resistance, and has these bonuses in both the main hand and offhand. So you can swap back and forth between them, whatever you want to do. Realistically, they only need it for the main hand, but I don't know, I like the idea of being able to have a sword and a bow, for instance, and swap between the two, depending on the enemy range, and still inferring the bonuses from the weapons. Okay, and then we have Agile, so that's the blue. And Agile nets us attack damage, again, same, but speed and attack speed, so 20% and 10%. And something I do want to bring attention to is if we grab out a crossbow, right, and we do Agile to this, the crossbow now has similar. It has 2 attack damage, 10% speed, and 20 attack speed, right? So the bow gives more movement speed, while the crossbow gives more attack speed. So again, useful if you're swapping back and forth between the weapons, right? So put this in your offhand, swing with a sword, or just your fist, I guess, and go back and forth. And then the last one is utility. Yes. So that gets tinkered. Perfect. And we now get health and luck. Right, so they're the 3 different modes for bows and crossbows. Again, they sort of reflect one another. So I think the crossbow will give more health but less luck, and then the bow gives health less and luck more. I said that backwards, but oh well. Alright, now the weapons. These are the more interesting things, right? Because the majority of combat is done with melee weapons. So we'll take out, what shall we take out? We'll take out an axe and I think not a netherite hoe. We'll go with a wooden hoe. Okay, so the extremes, actually not netherite, golden axe. Because golden is the most important, right? Okay, so on a fletching table, we use wooden tools. This is an offensive tinkering template. So we gain attack damage, speed, and attack speed. Now the attack speed is really important because now the netherite, not netherite, the wooden hoe swings fairly quickly, right? If we compare it to a normal hoe, it recharges a lot quicker. So these are very fast weapons where you can get that bonus a lot more often, right? Good for proccing different effects and stuff like that. But in the case of an axe, right? Polished basalt, we'll tinker it with offense as well. Perfect. And now this does a whopping 16 damage, but its speed is pretty bad, right? So see how long it takes to recharge, but you do a massive hit with it. So for instance, if we grabbed out a Husk Friend, I think one crit, right, so one jump attack with a fully charged axe should be enough. Yeah, perfect. Then with the wooden hoe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to take a lot more, but it's much easier to now spam click with the wooden hoe. Okay, so the general idea of what I'm trying to do is make everything viable, right? If you want a heavy hitting slow weapon, you could go with axes. If you want a in between, right, you could stick with swords. If you want a really quick weapon to try and proc effects, you can use a wooden hoe, right? A wooden hoe is the fastest, but also the least amount of damage. For instance, if we were to take out a netherite hoe and tinker with that, right? So we'll go to ancient debris, offensive. The netherite hoe has an attack speed of 1.7 versus 2.5 and has 3 attack damage. They also have different bonuses depending on the material. So for instance, wood is giving us speed, while netherite is giving us armor toughness. Okay, so slightly more attack, but a little bit less speed, right? So it's not as quick as the netherite hoe. Okay, so that is the weapon balancing. Oh, nope, offhand. Okay, offhand. Netherite hoe, other templates. And the bonuses we get now, well, they're for the offhand. Okay, so it still has attack damage, attack speed, not as great as it was before. It's slightly less damage, while also being slower, right? So the ratio is worse. But we now get these bonuses for having it in an offhand. We get armor toughness and we get luck. So armor toughness will scale with the speed of the weapon. So for instance, a netherite axe, if we trim it with offhand, it should give more armor toughness, but less luck. Okay, so it gives 1 luck versus 10 armor toughness. Ooh, that is oversight. Yeah. Why is the attack speed messed up on that? Okay, that's good to know, right? That'd be very OP if you could have a 14.5 attack damage weapon with base speed rather than being slow. So I do need to look into all of them. That's a great find. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Because there are more stuff to go over. Well, why don't we take a look at the advancements? Okay. So yes, we have all of these. We've done all that. What else is new? Well, we have this, the Bag of Enchantments, and up here we have Ancient Satchel. Okay, so there's 2 new craftables, if you will. If you look in the inventory, if I go into survival, we now also have these 2 icon slots. Okay, so you can stick a bag in each of these corners to do something. So why don't we go make them and see what happens. So I do need a bundle. Give us a bundle. Right. Probably add the recipe back. It's rabbit hide usually, isn't it? Or do I want bundles to be something the player can find? Probably something the player can find or trade for. I think that'd actually be better. But anyway, 1 bundle, 1 stack of enchantment fragments. Right, that's what it says. Reinforce a bundle with a stack of world fragments enchantments in an enchanter's crucible, an artifact able to absorb power from enchanted clusters, which are another section up here. So if we drop this in, and we drop our stack, they should fuse. Perfect. We get ourselves a enchanted satchel. Must be kept in the top left inventory slot to activate. Right, we're not in survival, so the icons are gone. Every enchanted cluster increases its respective attribute by 0.5%. Remove from its inventory slot to refresh the bonus. So what are these clusters? Well, there's 8 of them. So we have a copper cluster, iron, gold, quartz, redstone, lapis, diamond, and emerald. And they're all found rarely by mining ore. So if you mine emeralds, you have a chance to find these clusters. I will probably make a tradable way to get them because they are extremely rare, because the idea is these are the big thing you're working towards. Think of them as like gems in RPGs, right? So they should be in here. So for instance, yeah, it says Enchanted Emerald Cluster attuned to luck. So remember, the bag says every enchanted cluster increases its respective attribute by 0.5%. So for every emerald cluster that's in this bag, we're going to get 0.5% luck. So the easiest one to show off is movement speed, right? So we'll take our stack, we'll go 1, we'll go 32, and then we'll go 64. Take out a bag in our inventory slots, right? That top left does nothing, put 1 in, and we should get a slight bonus to speed. In fact, if I use the glass, no, doesn't like 1. I guess 0.5 because of the rounding. We'll try 2 then. Ooh. 2. Yeah, so there you go. Movement speed went up to 0.1. Very minor, right? You're not really going to notice it a lot. But if you then go to 32, definitely noticeable. We get the FOV increase, and this is a 16% bonus. Oh, why does it say... There we go. 16. Ah, because I was sprinting. Yes, so we get the bonus from sprinting as well. Okay, so it's a 16% bonus. But then if we go with 64, right, we now get a 32% speed bonus. Now, in two episodes ago, we did the Ancient Satchel, at least making it. So I'm not going to show the crafting again. I should have it here in this inventory. We have our Ancient Satchel, so it must be kept in the top right corner this time, and it increases the respective attribute by 1% rather than that 0.5. Okay, so it's a more efficient bag, but you can obviously utilize both of them. Right, so if we take this out, we stick 1 in the Ancient Satchel, right, we get that 1% movement speed. We go ahead and grab our 32, or we get 32, and then, you guessed it, 64 nets us 64%. So if we fill both of them up, right, we can get a lot of speed, 196%. For the fun of it, when we see what max is, right? So I've got some lapis gear somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go. So this is trimmed in lapis, which is generally the most movement speed, and then it is also attuned using the Tinkerer's templates to utility, which also gives the most movement speed on leather. So if we fully equip it, we also get the bonus of speed because of lapis material, and our movement speed is now 350%, while sprinting 455. That's pretty good. I think we can definitely sprint over 2 block gaps. Where was that big gap that we just went over? I think it was this. Ooh. No, not quite. You can definitely do 2. Oh, I guess not. I guess with the fall. Yeah, there we go. Very zoomy. So yeah, the goal would be to try and get all the stats in the corner here, right, as high as possible. See if you can figure out the tuning that I missed to get them all to like 100%. Feels good to be fast. Though it is very jarring, right? Moving this quickly and then getting rid of the bonuses. Right, so it should drop back down. 235. Helmet goes 181. Chestplate 157, and then all the way back to 100. And now we feel just a snail. Anyway, they'll probably do it. Hopefully I can actually start working on the weapons. But it is very good to be able to work on the advancements simultaneously, right? To flesh all this out, to have all the information for the player. I very much am enjoying using this as a codex. So, unlock-wise, right? So, once you craft your first template, this one, constructing... right, I didn't fix that either. Constructing... What can I change this to? Just Tinkerer's templates, probably. Yeah, so after you do that, that unlocks that, and then this gives you all the utility. The materials and the patterns, they're not actually unlocked until you actually trim something with them. So for instance, for this, the ward plating, you'd have to trim something with a ward smithing template for you to actually unlock the advancement or the codex entry. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.